Good morning, Tallahassee. It's time to wake up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hajavandi and Corey Clark.
The blind stares of a million pairs of eyes, looking hard but won't realize that they will never see the P.
Good morning. Welcome on into Wake Up War Chant, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Wake Up War Chant is myself, Aslan Hajavandi, Director of Digital Media for WarChant.com. And I should probably get top billing, but I control the mic I drive. Corey Clark, Senior Writer and Columnist for WarChant.com. Corey, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you? How are you?
Man, just a little bit chipper today because we're not going to have to be outside cooking in the sun for over 2 hours. Bittersweet.
Right.
We'll be able to watch the entire practice. We'll get a little bit of it, but can probably get back home like around, by 11 o'clock and take a nap?
Mm-hmm.
I like naps.
Yeah, at least probably a 3-hour nap. I might just go back to bed. It's different than taking a nap.
Not even make your bed, just get out and roll out.
Yeah, well, I don't make my bed anyway. But
What?
Whoever's leaving after me, I make them make it up.
Hey-o.
You know what I'm saying, everyone?
Right
Wake
on,
up.
bro.
Kids, turn that down. Parents, turn that down. Don't let your kids listen to that.
Real quick, health-wise, we need to have a health segment. Maybe we can get a sponsor for this. Tell the people what you had for breakfast yesterday, Corey.
I had probably, those famous Amos cookies, the little chocolate chip cookie bags. I probably had 6 of those, 6 little cookies. That was my breakfast.
And then you went outside.
Then I went outside and baked for,
3 hours?
3
almost,
hours, yeah.
When you add it all up.
Had a lot of water and a lot of Powerade, thanks to the FSU training staff.
Why don't you have breakfast? And I'm
because
in the
I get up
minority.
just in time. I get up as late as possible to get to where I need to be on time. I wouldn't wake up 15 minutes earlier to go eat.
I mean,
sleep is that important.
I'm with you. I love sleep, but get a bowl of cereal in you, man.
I don't eat cereal. What am I,
get some
Jerry Seinfeld
Eggos
over here?
Get some Eggos. Throw them in the toaster. Grab something on the go on the road.
Well, I should get like a granola bar.
Yeah, come on, guy.
Well, I figure that's the same as a 6 little tiny cookies. But no, it's not healthy. I would never let my son do that. But I'm a grown man. I can make my own. Even bad ones.
When Brady stays with you, how does he start his morning off?
Donut.
Oh gosh.
No, I get him when he stays with his mom. It's sausage. It's waffles. When he stays with me, it's a granola bar as we get in the car.
Wow, you really are pampering and spoiling him.
Well, I figure it's a little taste of both.
Yeah. What do you folks have for breakfast? Let me know. I'm a big breakfast guy. Every morning, 3 egg whites, a little bit of cheese in there, cheddar cheese,
3 egg whites,
and then a slice of toast, and then a bowl of oatmeal with a little bit of brown sugar and strawberries.
You did that today before you came out?
Every single day.
Egg whites. What do you do with the yellows?
Throw them down the drain.
That's the best part of an egg.
Ugh, no, unless it's poached. If it's poached, I'm all about the yolk. Otherwise, yolk, nah.
Man, that's crazy. That's the only reason I would eat an egg is the yellow stuff.
No proteins in that, man. The good stuff's in the white, man.
All right.
But then I bring a banana or an apple out to the fields and then about 2 bottles of water. It's dangerous out there.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
Don't know how these guys hold up and do it. Anyhow, 2 days are in the books. There's a couple of things we probably should go over after 2 days of observations. First off, I guess the best news that came out of Tuesday's practice was the fact that Tamori Terry only has a calf strain.
Yes.
I mean, that's the best news, right?
It is. You don't know how severe it is. You don't know how limited he's going to be. Willie, I think, said he's hopeful to get him back soon.
Yep.
That's very vague.
That is. He was a little bit vague on DJ Matthews, too, and I walked away thinking, he'll be back soon. But then I went to listen to him like, Willie.
It's vague. Neither one of them did anything, didn't get any mental reps, quote unquote, either at all on Tuesday.
I didn't see them. Did you see?
No, I didn't see him at all. So, we'll see. I don't know that you need Terry. Like I told you, I think maybe let him miss the next 2 weeks. Who gives a flip? Get him right. Don't bring him back too soon for some practice on August 16th. You're going to need him in September. So make sure he's good and ready to go. And I feel like, you'll have, say he gets back game week or 8 days before. Just get him ready those 8 games.
You're almost talking about him like he's 2016 Dalvin Cook.
I know. Hey, trust me, I know. He hasn't proven anything. He might be the next Corey Surrency. I don't think so. I think my man has the hands. He's got really strong hands, and we all know what kind of athlete he is. So, I mean, that's a guy that they really need. So take it slow.
We should probably start having pre-production meetings so we can plan things out. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep jumping around this thing like
That's
Twister.
fine, buddy. I like it better like that.
I mean, you kind of mentioned Corey Cerency in a joking fashion. Did Corey have really good summers and then not perform
No,
well?
he was just supposed to be the next huge thing.
Right.
And he wasn't. And, Jimbo talked about him like he was Julio Jones. And so, yeah, I want to kind of – maybe I should pump the brakes a little bit on Terry.
Right.
But, I trust my eyes.
I'm all in over here, so
yeah.
I can take one for the team of Paul Matsword. But I think what would bum me out the most this season, because now I'm complicit in this, I did pump brakes on him during spring, was Brian Burns. But at this point, we've been talking about him because of what we've seen.
Yeah.
Man, if I would be so bummed out if he does not go out Monday night against Virginia Tech and become an absolute game changer in that ball game. I will be so disappointed. Not in him, but just the yearly sort of the way this always happens, right? There's always some guy that somebody affiliated with a website that covers the beat for any major college football team, I feel like this guy's having a great camp. The coaches are saying all the great things about him. We see it with our own eyes. And then the season comes and you just put your hands in the air. Like,
but
what
don't
happened?
you think Burns is a little different because he has proven it? Like he had that game against Clemson. He had that freshman season. So it's in there. What I think people really are hesitant about or dubious about is when it's a guy that hasn't done anything for 2 or 3 years. And then all of a sudden you hear, oh, wow, LaMarcus Brutus looks like an All-American, or whoever it might be.
Yeah. No
George
offense to
Campbell,
LaMarcus Brutus,
or George Campbell looks like he's a superstar. Well, man, if they haven't seen it and the guy's been here for a long time, it's going to be hard for them to believe that. And as soon as he's not good, they'll be sure to tell you, hey, what happened to George Campbell? I thought he was a great player.
Yeah.
But with Brian Burns, man, he's proven that he can be that guy. And I'm telling you, folks, we watched – I think he might have been on 5 or 6 plays in that 11-on-11, and he had 2 sacks. In a tackle for loss. That's right. He also had a tackle for loss. Yeah. So in like 6 plays, he had 2 sacks and a tackle for loss.
That's what I'm saying. Just he's got to be a guy that by midway through the second quarter, that telecast, they keep circling him like, keep an eye on the top of your screen. Brian Burns coming off the edge.
Yeah,
and
man.
Then he's going to have to make the sack. And everyone's going to be like,
well, I mean, he certainly looks the part. He's lightning fast. Yeah. And he's a little bigger than he's been. He's still not big by any stretch, but he's bigger than he's been. So, we'll see. They're going to try to run at him, so we'll see how he does with that. And try to run at him and DeKalen. That's a small – when you're thinking about like a defensive end linebacker combo, it's not a lot of, heft there.
I don't think that's probably nowhere even near 500 pounds combined weight.
No, it's a lot like probably whoever the outside linebacker was in 96 behind Boulware.
Right.
I mean, it didn't matter. They still dominated almost every offense they faced, but – it's they're going to have to prove they can stop the run because they will have some small guy, quote unquote. Again, I'm doing that way too much, quote unquote.
You used both your hands this time.
I
too,
did.
so
I
just
did.
use the one.
But they're not small for Earth for human beings, but they're small for football players. Woodby and Brooks, those aren't the biggest linebackers in the country. And obviously Burns isn't one of the biggest defensive ends. They're going to have to prove they can stop the run. They're certainly physical, and I think they will try, but they have to do that. I think they will get after the quarterback.
Well, I mean, Harlan Barnett said that's. I guess I don't know if he was talking in generalities. Every defense, that's one of the cliches, right? We got to stop the run, make a team one-dimensional.
Well, at Michigan State,
but it felt genuine. Like is
their
that is their mission statement is to stop the run. So I feel good about that. Although I don't know,
he plays so many guys close to the line of scrimmage too. Typically, that it's so many dudes up and around that box that just scheme-wise, it can be hard to run on.
And you want to talk about scheming and bring guys in the box. I mean, Jaden Woodby had a couple. He's just like I don't know like what they call the guys back in the day that would try to break up a union when they were on strike.
Scab.
Well, I know what a scab is, but the big business
strike buster,
or something like that's what Jaden Woodby is like the screen buster. Whenever they try to do those screen passes where they'll stack the receivers in front of one another, he just blows people up. And then he comes in run support and starts blowing people up.
I think he did 2 of those where they would throw it to the tight end on a little flat out in the flat real quick. And he's supposed to be able to turn the corner and go because the wide receivers have cleared out everything else. Yeah. And Woodby ain't having it. Like he's right there on top of them when they catch it. And then the first team offense ran a screen pass where I thought they designed it pretty well, and it was designed, and they executed it pretty well. They had 3 linemen out in front of Patrick or whoever it was, Rasul, and he wiggled through all 3 and made the tackle behind. I mean, the dude just has it. He also tackled LeBourne to the ground one time, and then they hugged afterwards. But, man, that guy looks like – that guy belongs. He really stands out. He makes a lot of flash plays.
Did they hold hands or did they just hug?
They did not hold hands. They got. I think they yelled at him because he actually tackled him to the ground, and then LeBourne. So he was getting kind of talked to, and LeBourne came over and gave him a big hug.
Okay.
I think they're boys. They seem like they're boys.
I
think LeBourne appreciates that kind of They all do.
That's good. What were you about to say right there?
Competitiveness.
All right. I want to talk about that. You mentioned it in our video wrap-up on War Chant TV. Let's talk about it here on 97.9 ESPN Radio on Wake Up War Chant. We'll do that right after this, right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Is this thing cursed? If it isn't, I'm unsure. Who keeps on hanging around when I simply should
Wake up! 97.9 ESPN Radio. He's Corey Clark, senior writer and columnist for WarChant.com. I'm Aslan Hajavandi. The show is right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. If you're listening to us on the radio, if you're on the podcast, thank you. Appreciate it. We're doing good. Had my little rant the other day. Didn't get us any one-star reviews, so thank you, people, for just tweeting at me your venom and not bringing Corey down and the
thank you very much.
Down with you.
That's much appreciated.
So you mentioned competitiveness, and it was something you mentioned in our video wrap-up. Just there's a there's a little bit more chatter going on. You talked about it on Monday. There, in terms of Tamori and Terry not.
Yeah, it was quiet.
Yeah. And Tuesday was a little bit different. Why are you such a proponent of that? Why is that a good sign for you?
I mean, it makes everyone better. It's more like a game when you're really, it's practice. You can't trick your mind into saying this is a game. You can give game reps, but it's still practice. So maybe you're not really trying to kill the guy next to you. But if he starts giving you, even if he's a teammate, if he starts giving you a little lip or starts making fun of you or starts celebrating too much, well, then you get mad. And once you get mad, man, and once you want to try to make a play, I just think that raises your level. And you better compete. If you don't compete against Levante Taylor, he's going to make you look dumb. He is, and he has. None of those guys could catch anything against that dude. You got to figure out how to get better against that guy. And there was a time where I think it was Kane Doe got a sack. And it was when Burns got one of his sacks, and he started talking to Hockman. And it wasn't like he was probably trying to be playful, but Hockman didn't take it like that.
Yeah, because Hockman's got fire.
Yeah,
Hockman's
got a little something in his belly too, and so he looked at him with kind of a glance and started to talk back. And then Blackman and Francois immediately ran over and got into it. And Burns is pointing to them. And, he's saying, you don't want any of this, Jay Black. You know what's going to happen, Jay Black. So not like they were going to fight, just the defense is dominating the day kind of thing. And I just think that gets everybody – I just think that juices up practice. It makes it competitive. It makes it where you get better. That's how you get better.
I scrambled there for about 10 seconds a minute ago while Corey was talking to grab my notebook.
So right, yeah.
We're not allowed to electronically record anything after about period 8.
Or tweet anything out.
So I went old school. I pulled out my notebook, and I'm not gonna do stats. I'm not gonna say what Bailey Hockman was or Blackman was or DeAndre was. I just don't think. I mean, they're not even in pads. There was this one moment, and I've even just wrote down. I mean, things are such as it says 13 : back shoulder fade to 11 on 18. So that means James Blackman threw a back shoulder fade to George Campbell, and he completed over number 18. I don't know who's
Stanford
Samuels the third. This is my favorite one though. It's 13 : 88 beats 24 over the shoulder. Team celebrates. That's cool. That's not my favorite one. My favorite one was there was a bad throw. I'm not going to say what quarterback it was, but it was during 11 on 11s. It was a bad throw. 11. Actually, it was one-on-ones. I'm sorry. It was one-on-ones. It was 11 on 14. Campbell on Kyle Myers. All right, dude. Kyle Myers literally starts yelling the F word and trash after it. Effing trash. He's just, and people might be like, that's not nice. I'm not condoning profanity or whatever. Actually, it doesn't really bother me. But he was just running his mouth the whole time after the bat. He's like, that's trash. Y'all trash. Don't bring that trash at me. It was amazing.
So imagine, though, if you're the offense. Man, screw that guy.
Yeah.
Let's go at him.
Yeah.
Again, that's how. Again, I think that really is that raises the level of play. I think, quite frankly, that's why the defense in 2015 was good. It's because they had a guy that would not shut up the entire practice, and he was awesome. And when you have Jalen Ramsey, picking everybody up like that, getting the whole side into a fight if he has to at practice, then, there's no, you can't even really quantify it. It just helps. It just helps. And I was much more, if you're looking for a good bright spot of that about Tuesday, I thought they were much more energetic. Maybe it's because they, maybe first day jitters, I don't know. But they talked more, they competed more, they celebrated more. It felt more like a competitive practice.
Yeah, for sure. It brings out the best. I mean, there's a bunch of
and
alpha
there was some
guys.
altercations, which is going to happen.
Yeah.
Even without pads on, there's altercations. I mean, they get after it, man.
And then Willie handles it in his own unique way that I probably have never seen a coach handle. Altercation.
Yeah, it was like the last play of practice, right? It was
Pretty
two
much.
linemen that got into it.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they I don't know if they were swinging. It's just the stuff you see at football practice, ripping helmets off because the one guy held the block too long or the other guy was doing whatever he was doing for too long.
Give him the business.
And then Willie, so the first instinct was Willie kicked the kid out of practice. Like he pointed and said, get out of here or whatever he said.
Right.
Probably not that politely. And then immediately he's like, no, come over here because the other kid was on the ground. He didn't get punched there. He was just on the ground. He had slipped. And he picks him up, and then they walk off holding hands, right?
Yeah.
That's his thing. I mean, Taggart makes them walk off. If they get in a fight, apparently Taggart makes and I'd heard that before, that Taggart makes them walk off the field holding hands.
It was great because the guy who got the wrath of Willie was walking off, and he kind of hovered over the guy, was waiting for him to get off of his knee and get up, and he was like grabbing his hand. I'm like, what is he doing? And then he holds his hand, and I'm like, aw.
Yeah. At the end of the day, your teammates, man. Your teammates, even if you hate that guy's guts in the moment because, he's trying to kill you.
Fantastic. All right, back to 14, Kyle Myers. So Stanford Samuels, I guess, is transitioning maybe to more safety.
It seems like it. Willie was asked about it. Stanford certainly seems to think that that's where he's going to be playing the majority of.
Was he
the time.
fine with it? I wasn't over there during that interview.
I asked him why he
okay,
did it. I asked, why do you think he did it? And he goes, I really don't know. He goes, he mentioned something about length, talking about Harlan Barnett. But he goes, also, it's a lot of man-to-man anyway. Like, I'm still going to be playing a lot of man-to-man. It's just you play man-to-man coverage and you have to tackle. And, again, he had a pick six in that practice as a safety. So I just think, man, it's a good idea to get one of your guys. I think he can make more of an impact in the middle of the field if he's good at it. Yeah. Like he's a good cornerback. But if he's a good safety, I think he can make more of an impact, especially with the attacking defense they're going to have. I think there are going to be some balls that are up for grabs, like that one, and he took it to the house. So I would think if he was having second thoughts about it, maybe that getting an interception and running it back might have helped him ease that concern because that was right in the middle of the field. He saw the pass. The kid that was running the route wasn't even looking, and he intercepted and ran it back. That's a fun part of playing safety.
I wonder who's going to – I wonder, who's going to be on the bench if he's out there? Like, who is he competing with? Like, is Cyrus Fagan going to be the guy that might lose reps to him?
Or Westbrook, maybe? Or Nasruldeen?
Yeah, maybe Nasruldeen. Nasruldeen really hasn't done anything to wow me. I was expecting big things out of him.
No,
But
I
it's
haven't
two
seen
practices.
him, but yeah,
I'm not,
and he did plenty during the season last year that was pretty that wowed you probably a little bit from time to time.
Yeah.
But when you think about – so now if you have Samuels, Nasruldeen – at your safeties, and then you have Woodby out there in whatever that role is, and then you have Lavonte Taylor, who to me looks like the best player on the team other than Burns. I mean, he looks incredible. Now, he's not going against the best wide receivers right now. And then on the other side, you have Myers or whoever it might be. I mean, that's a pretty stacked secondary to me if they play well.
We heard in the beginning of the lost decade so much when Stanford Samuels' father and Rufus Brown and Kyler Hall were much maligned with the fan base that, well, you can't cover a guy for 5-6 seconds. You need pressure, on the quarterback and the defensive ends, and there really wasn't a lot of pressure coming from the front four. I wonder how much of what we'll see from Florida State in terms of their numbers, the pass rushing, because I'm sure we're going to probably – actually, there was pretty good sack numbers 2 years ago, but I don't know how last year was for sacks.
They weren't. They were like 50-something in the country.
Yeah. I wonder how much of it is going to be attributed to the fact that, all right, Brian Burns is going to have a breakout year. Maybe Janarius Robinson, chips in pretty well, and maybe Wolverine,
yeah.
But at the same time, I wonder how much of it's going to be the fact that the second, there's coverage sacks, right? We hear about coverage sacks a lot. I wonder how many coverage sacks are going to happen because I like that secondary. And I know I mentioned the other day, I just, all that talent looks really well the way they're playing out there. I just feel that I don't know. I think maybe the biggest benefit to attacking the quarterback is going to be the fact that there's not going to be a lot of easy passes out there. There's not going to be a lot of big open windows for guys to throw into.
Well, and also I think you got like somebody like DeKalen Brooks again who keeps making plays out there when I watch him, but he's fast too. He's like having another secondary guy out there. There's going to be a lot of dudes running around in a short area of the field that you're going to have to try to get the ball around. And
probably wrong about him. I'm probably wrong about DeKalen Brooks.
What you just think it was kind of more of a thanks for your service, Derek. We're going to offer your son a scholarship.
No, just the fact that I guess when you have the great Roderick Hoskins out there and Matthew Thomas and those guys, and I guess you really have to give them the credit for holding on to their jobs.
Right. Well, and the defense wasn't terrible last year, even with that straight mediocre linebacker play. It's going to be different this year, man. It's just going to be different. And I think Brooks has a nose for the football, and I definitely think Woodby does. I think Woodby in a couple of years is going to be. He could be like Derwin-esque, maybe even better. Really, I just the guy is just flying around making plays. That's what he does. He's not in pads though, so we got to temper it a little bit.
That's true.
We got to temper it. But man, he looks like the next coming of these guys, these terrific DBs that have been coming through here over the years. That Jimbo finally won't be able to take. Tim Brewster won't be able to put him on a recruiting pitch because the only reason Jaden's here is because Jimbo's not.
Speaking of, the fact they're not in pads, is there any one position group, and this is not me dogging on them at all, I promise you, that's less enjoyable to watch at this time of the year than the linebackers?
I was going to say the running backs. Running
backs are still doing some shifty stuff.
But you never get to see them do anything. Like, as soon as somebody breathes on them, they blow the whistle. Yeah. It's literally, Cam Akers hasn't done anything impressive.
He has not. Yeah, he hasn't.
He's fine. He's awesome.
Yeah.
But he doesn't even get a chance. They don't get a chance to unleash Cam Akers when they're not in pads. So when they're not, he probably won't even get to do much this whole fall because why would you ever bring that kid to the ground in August?
Well, because Kalen LeBourne caught a touchdown in 11-on-11, and then people are like, whoa, man, could we maybe see LeBourne take over Akers? I haven't heard anything from Akers these first few days. It's because they're not in pads right now. But linebackers are going up against garbage cans the whole time. What they're working on during individual drills when we can actually film is predominantly alignment and assignment. There's no contact. At least with defensive backs, you're seeing them backpedal and jump up, and they're trying to high point the ball. Defensive line still hitting the sled. Offensive line are hitting each other. Man, Greg Fry does not. I don't know how Trickett was really rough or whatever. Greg Fry is no walk in the park either.
No, he does.
That's a good thing.
He's not Trickett though. But he did ask him. I didn't see it, but Ira wrote about it, talking about how he asked him at one point, "Okay, what drill do you want to do now?" Yeah. He asked the whole offensive line. He's like getting them to maybe take ownership a little bit. What do you guys think you need to work on now? Not just, hey, do this, hey, do that. Now, he's going to do whatever he wants to do, but at least he wants them to feel a little bit of ownership. And he also asked them, all right, which one of these drills do you want to do in the shade? Which one of these drills do you want to do in the sun? Because we're doing one of each. Which one would you rather do in the shade? Which one would you rather do in the sun? I don't think that's a bad thing to communicate like that. It's just got to be so different for all these guys.
It's a utopia.
Right. It's just got to be. And Greg Fry isn't, the offensive line coaches have to be hard asses.
Yeah, he's not a
They
pushover.
have to be hard asses. And he's not a pushover by any stretch. But he's just different. And it's got to be, for most of those guys, I'm sure some of those guys maybe even miss Trickett. But for most of those guys, it's just something completely new that they probably really appreciate.
2 full segments. We haven't really talked about quarterbacks. We should probably do that. Let's do so. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Wake Up War Chant, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.
Join us tomorrow. Hang tight for 2 more segments. 2 more segments today. But join us tomorrow. It'll be the Renegade Express. Give us a call, 850-792-5730. 850-792-5730. It's Wake Up War Chant. It's 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'm Aslan. He's Corey. Also, that promo, I think, is ending either Friday. I don't know, but get it done now, folks. The promo right now over at warchant.com. If you're not part of the family, fam, do it. Get on it. 2 football seasons for the price of one and a $50 gift card to Garnet and Gold. Or if you sign up for just 1 month, you'll actually get coverage all the way through the Miami game. The Miami game is November 6th. So do the math, folks. You're going to pay for 1 month, and you get access all the way through.
I feel like you meant October 6th.
Did I say what I say?
You said November.
All right. October. He's right.
It's all right.
As always, per usual.
Per usual,
man. Per usual. And you'll get a $25 or a $20 gift card to Garnet Gold. I should look at that and know it for sure, but
either way, you need to get over to War Chant.
Just do it
and
already.
Just do it.
Come on.
What? Seriously, I can't even imagine what y'all want out of your Florida State coverage that's not there.
For $10.
And also, you got, I mean,
listen, yesterday, Corey wrote a story. Gene and I. A column.
Yeah.
Okay. Gene Williams, been covering the beat since 96. Ira's been doing this since 2002. Gave you every single minutia of what they saw at the practice. I mean, everything. And then Corey and I talked about things on camera. Then we did about 10 minutes of just raw video of every single drill they were doing and the availability.
Got press conferences up.
Gene's taking photos of all the freshmen because you guys don't want to see these guys. They got shirts on. They're not shirtless, but not everything can be perfect. Like,
we need to get Walt Bell without a shirt on. Am I right, ladies? Am I right?
Man, so overrated.
What?
Overrated. If I had a girl and she left me for Walt Bell, I'd be disappointed. Like, come on. Come on.
These mics are on.
I mean, he's got, like, the status. He's got status and wealth over me.
Well, my girlfriend was pretty impressed by a couple of pictures I showed her.
Whatever. I'm disappointed in you, Stephanie.
Yeah, well,
get better.
I was, too. I was like, what? You'd rather have that than this? Are you crazy?
All right. Speaking of Walt, by the way, somebody tweeted at me and said I better watch my back. Looked like Willie was going to punch me when I asked him about the dynamic with he and Walt, but I don't think so. I think Willie we're cool.
No, it's fine.
We're cool. I think Willie likes me now. I don't think he ever disliked me. I just think that we actually develop rapport.
You guys are buds. In fact, Willie yelled at me during practice.
Did he?
Well, not yelled at me in a bad way. He saw me standing in the shade. He's like, "What's the matter, Corey? You don't like the sun?" Yeah. And then I pointed to my head. It's like, I got to protect this bad boy. Yeah.
He's nice. It's cool having a head coach. It's nice, right?
It's something. It's something else.
All right.
Again, go win games, though, or it doesn't matter, Willie. It does not matter.
We're just trying to have some love, some good vibes here.
Go win games.
All right, go sign up for a membership. We'll go talk about the quarterbacks now. Walt Bell, Willie Taggart, their quarterbacks. All right, so they have expansion drafts, like the NHL. Remember the team that made it to the Stanley Cup and lost to the Capitals, the Vegas
Las
Golden
Vegas, yeah.
So the expansion draft is pretty much every single team can protect one or two players, and then everybody else is on the table. I'm wondering if you had to protect one or two guys on this roster for Florida State, or if you were just a scout and you were going to make your own college football team, you could go to every school and just kind of pluck a guy away. No one's taking any of the quarterbacks from this team. And I know that I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it just right now it's 2 days. I'm not panicking. I guess maybe the more diplomatic way to ask this, Corey, is ultimately, does this team need a great quarterback to be a great team this year?
No, because I don't think this offense needs a great quarterback to be a great offense. I think it needs a good quarterback that doesn't make mistakes, doesn't just give the ball away. I think the scheme and the speed is what Willie's banking on. Now, you got to have a guy that can do it and can run it and can make the throws. I mean, I'm not diminishing or dismissing how important a quarterback is on a football team, but I think DeAndre Francois, the 2016 DeAndre Francois, that guy could win 10 or 11 games, obviously, with this offense, too. He won 10 games with that plotting thing. Now, he had Dalvin Cook, but the dudes that are lining up next to him now aren't much worse than Dalvin Cook. And, I think his receivers, if they're healthy, are going to be better. So if he won 10 games with that offense, I feel like DeAndre Francois can win 10 or 11 games with this offense. He's not going to win a Heisman. He's not going to be an All-American. He's going to make you scratch your head sometimes. He's just not pinpoint accurate. But neither are the other two right now either.
I don't think he'll make you scratch your head.
I just think with some of the throws, sometimes they'll just sail a little bit. They'll just sail.
I saw one throw, but I'm not going to hold that indicative of what he is. I mean, the only play that he's ever made them is like, you got to be kidding me, dude, was against Michigan when he threw the pick six. Against Michigan, I was like, oh, jeez, guy. But I'm not going to hold that.
Yeah, maybe the last pick against Alabama was like, you just looked like you threw it right to him.
No, I think all the picks against Alabama made me want to vomit. But where I don't want to disagree and start debate here, but Willie said it so many times that because he has all this great sort of reverence to the pass at Florida State. He's always mentioned that he wants a quarterback that's going to play great, that can bring the best out in his teammates, and is going to be able to lead. Because when this program has had great quarterbacks, they've had great seasons. They've won national championships. And I guess you can't expect national championship year number one, but don't you need? I don't want to put numbers on things, but don't you need a guy who's going to throw 35 touchdowns, who's going to throw for about 4,000 yards if you want to win a national championship at Florida State?
I don't think it's just a Florida State specific thing. I think those were different kinds of offenses. I don't think that you need. I don't think his offense needs that. I think it's a lot kind of like the Clemson offense. And that dude certainly was special, the dude that played for them last year. They got to the playoffs.
That's true.
So, again, maybe to beat Alabama, maybe you need somebody that's special. But
a transcendent guy. You need a
they were hanging with Alabama last year with Francois until those picks in the second half. The blocked punt. Was it a blocked punt, right? Didn't he get a punt blocked?
Yeah. Missed a field goal before halftime, too.
So, they were right there with Francois. They weren't blown off the field, and he threw for 200 yards in the first half or close to it in that game and just did nothing the second half. But, no, I think they can win with any of these guys. I think the difference going into this year, we still don't know about Bailey Hockman. He doesn't look like he doesn't belong. Bailey Hockman.
Most three quarterback races have the guy where you're like, oh, that
come
guy.
on, man.
Yeah.
Not him.
No.
And in fact, I think we were talking about it, Ira and Jeff on Seminole Headlines said if you didn't know anything about Florida State at all, didn't know any of the names, and you walked into practice and saw those three quarterbacks, I don't think you'd be able to pick out, okay, who's the projected starter, who's the third string guy.
Who's the guy that started for a whole year.
They all kind of look about the same. I think Francois played a little bit better the first 2 days, maybe a little more consistently, getting the ball out quicker.
He just looks better. His release and everything.
He's just quicker. Quicker athlete, quicker getting the ball up, quicker getting the ball out. Yeah. But you wouldn't look at any of those guys and say, okay, that guy's definitely the best and that guy's definitely the worst. They're all kind of, to me anyway, they're right in there so far without pads. I guess my point was going to be, though, unlike last year, when they lost Francois and they went from a 10-win team to barely a 7-win team, barely a 7-win team. I think this year, if say Francois starts and gets hurt, I don't think the disparity is that much. I think Blackman is good enough to run this offense and run it almost as well. I don't think there's an appreciable difference. There might be an appreciable difference. Sorry, I'm talking in circles.
You're fine.
I don't think it's a huge difference between Francois and Blackman. I think either one of them.
So what determines it then? If it is so close.
Whoever plays better, I guess. I just looking at it, you wouldn't look at those two guys and go, okay, well if Blackman's playing, they're not going to be a good offense,
right?
Or Francois is playing, they're going to be a great offense. You don't look at it like that. I just think there's not that big a difference to me watching those first two games, first two practices.
There was something I wanted to ask you about that still had to deal with.
But I also don't think they're winning a championship this year, no matter who the quarterback is. Yeah. And none of these three might be the guy, the next guy at Florida State, the next Heisman winner. It's not on this roster. But these guys are certainly good enough to win a lot of games.
I know what I want to ask you, or kind of maybe pivot to. What's the likelihood then that this is, this is kind of weird. Bear with me, everybody here. Bear with me in pretty much every thought I have. But if this is not going to be a team that's got a great quarterback, that's going to have a 35 touchdown, 40 touchdown, 40, like 30, 35 touchdown, 4,000-yard guy. But we're going to be fast. We're going to be, physical, finesse. We're going to do everything. What's the likelihood that this is like an Alabama-esque team almost? That's just going to rely on a really good run game and a quarterback that can just make a few plays when they kind of have to. Not a game manager, but a team that's going to rely on a really good run game and then a really good defense. I'm really high on the defense right now. And I'm not saying national championship. I'm just saying let's play in November, and let's be in a position where if a couple teams lose and if a couple teams fall, maybe you can sneak in and do something. Like could that be a template? I'm not saying Alabama, but this is going to be a team maybe ultimately that's going to live and die or thrive based on how good they can run and how awesome the defense could possibly be, and that's not maybe what we thought was the recipe under Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah, I think with Jimbo's teams, if the quarterback didn't play well, you didn't have a great shot. I think with this, your quarterback might not make all the right reads, might miss some throws, but if you're running for 300 yards, it probably won't matter too much. And I'm telling you, Willie wants to run the ball 50, 55 times a game. So you're throwing 25 times. Well, complete 16 of them for $180, 200, whatever you got to do. Hit some big plays with him, and you got big play guys. I think they'll. Yeah, I mean, Alabama's not somebody, not a bad comparison that you want to try to live up to.
You're not going to be dynamic. You're not, defense wins championships.
I think
offense sells
you can be
tickets.
dynamic on offense, but I don't think that means the quarterback has to be a dynamic quarterback. I think you're going to have plays in this offense, and they haven't had many, as great as even Jameis was. They haven't had many in the last decade where guys are just running free. You just didn't see that a lot with Florida State offense, where a dude just – somebody forgot to, like the LeBourne touchdown that we saw at practice.
Yeah.
It was a cool play. The running back kind of acts like he's blocking for a second and then does a seam route. And the linebackers caught flat-footed. The safeties are out of the play, and it's an easy touchdown. They didn't have a lot of those. So I think you're going to see that more with this offense, where you hit 2 or 3 big plays a game is the hope. Plus, you got real talent at running back.
This is such a roller coaster. Like Sunday, I'm like, man, let's do this. 12-0. Natty. Actually, no, I'm never going to say natty again. By the way, let's stop using that.
I don't like that at all.
I can't stand it.
Yeah. I don't know when that happened. I don't know if it's because of Natty Light, like that it became. But natty,
that's what natty is. It's not a national championship.
It's
Everybody
Natty
stop
Light.
using
Yeah,
it.
it's Natty
Stop
Ice.
using it. Stop using it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I don't agree with you on much, but Natty for the national
You
championship.
lie.
We can't. We got to get rid of that.
You agree with most things I say. You just don't want to admit it. But it's like a emotional roller coaster. Like I'm high, I'm low. I'm like, man, we're going to be really good. And I'm like, I see things. I'm like, I don't know. And then we're back up. And I'm like, I don't know. Only, 26 more days of this? 25,
Well, yeah,
26.
and then, go from week to week. Sometimes they're going to look pretty bad.
It's just the way it works. All right, man, let's wrap things up. Shut it on down. We'll do that right after this. It's 97.9 ESPN Radio. It's Wake Up War Chant.
You're locked in to Wake Up War Chant on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
With the clothes I baby, yeah, baby. With the dough I baby, in the bank, I ain't tryna blow that, baby. We gon' say that much, baby.
He's Corey. I'm Aslan's Wake Up War Chant. Thanks for listening, folks. Do appreciate it. Be here tomorrow. We'll do the Renegade Express. Take all your questions and calls. 850-792-5730. Offensive line. Let's talk about that real quick, too, Corey.
Go for it.
First off, let's let Willie talk about things, and then we can riff off of him maybe. Go ahead, Coach.
Well, yesterday I thought our O-line did a good job. I like that group that's in there right now and the things they were doing. I was really, really impressed with Juwan. I thought he had an outstanding practice yesterday. Just for a guy that didn't practice much in the spring and come out and just the way he runs around, and he's really athletic. The kid can run, but he had a really good practice yesterday.
They've got the 5 guys. I don't know if that's going to be the configuration that we'll see on day one. Corey, I'm looking at you. Willie Taggart was pretty happy, it sounded like, which the way that they've retained stuff from spring to fall. I mean, does the way that he was talking about them yesterday change the way you assess the offensive line? I feel like they're probably going to, Brian Burns is tough to block. Hopefully that's going to be a bugaboo for everybody. But I feel like if they get their hands on guys, they're going to be able to keep moving. And listen, there's been a bunch of 1,000-yard rushers here the last few years, so they're not total abject, failures or anything like that, the way a lot of people want to kind of cast this offensive line.
Yeah, their pass pro has not been great. I think that's putting it kindly.
Well chronicled.
But, they had, Dalvin helped, but they gave Dalvin some holes, and they gave Cam Akers some holes, and Patrick has scored a bunch of touchdowns. They've had their moments, and I think the biggest thing that the biggest takeaway from talking to Willie about that first day of practice was how high he was on Jawan Williams, because I was too. I saw it, and I'm like, wow, he looks athletic. Odell gave him the big thumbs up after one play, which is crazy, after he just blocked one of Odell's guys for Odell to single out the other guy. But I thought that was telling, and then him saying that he was really, really impressed, and those were his words. I was really, really impressed with Jawan, because that guy hasn't done anything, but he has the talent, you think, to be a rock at left tackle. And if you get that left tackle spot squared away, which they haven't, had in a couple of years, that's big. And then you start working from there. But I think that's a really, really good sign if you're a Florida State fan that after a practice where we were worried, we didn't even know how much he'd be even able to practice, how healthy he was, that the head coach was so high in singling him out right away for how well he played.
I heard this on Seminole Headlines when I was driving around town yesterday. But does I'm not saying Bavion has the yips, but is Bavion's not, his snaps aren't perfect all the time or something? I haven't seen any.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on Big Baby, I mean, I got the question was, can we not get Baby in at center because the guy was tired of seeing Eberle get blown up? But again, Eberle was really banged up last year. Like, he's a walking mummy almost. I mean, he didn't have
David Castillo 2.0.
He was taped together, and he still wasn't terrible.
He wasn't.
He had nice moments. If he can, and no linemen are ever healthy by October. They're all nicked and bruised. But if he can stay relatively healthy, man, he's not a bad center. I don't know that Big Baby is your best option at center this year. You would like him to get some reps, though, because you're going to need him moving forward.
Actually, wasn't Eberle really banged up in 16? He had a bad hip injury. And then
was
he
it
actually
16?
Yeah.
So 17
he was actually pretty good last year.
That's right. 16 was when he was 16 he would get embarrassed. I mean, because he had bad moments because they would obviously, when a center falls on his backside, that's going to be replayed a lot. And that happened a few times with him, but number one, he wasn't an upperclassman, and he was really hurt. I thought last year he was a pretty good center. And they asked those centers in that offense to do a ton. In this offense, not so much. He doesn't have to point out 5 things, and he doesn't have to scoot down the line to try to make a block that's almost impossible that Stork could do, but nobody else really could. I mean, I think Eberle can be a big part of this team.
Brian Stork, more like Tony Stark. Iron Man. Gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one, man.
Gonna be super.
That's a good one. You nailed it. When we have our best of,
this will make
found
it.
One.
All right, mark this one down. Segment number 4. Yeah, again, that's a segment where depth is going to probably be a problem to a certain degree. Depth is going to be an issue because there's so many freshmen that they're trying to get kind of going, and Babion's a guy that didn't see snaps a lot last year and was injured for spring. But those 5 guys, I mean, I don't know how it's going to work with Derek Kelly. I think everybody else is kind of locked in. It feels like Juwan Williams will probably be at left tackle if he's healthy. Cole Minshew is going to be your guy at right guard. And then Eberle is going to be the guy in the center, and then it's going to be Derek Kelly either at left guard or right tackle, and
right.
Same thing with Landon Dickerson. I like those 5 guys. I like Derek Kelly.
Yeah.
I like Eberle.
But you got to get guys behind them. You got to get depth because there's no chance a whole starting 5 is going to stay healthy for an entire year on a college offensive line. It just won't happen. So you got to develop depth. And I think, didn't Walt Bell say when we talked to him that he wants to have 8 or 9 guys ready for that opener? Yeah. I don't think they're going to be rotating in like the Patriots. But I do think, you got to get some of those guys. They have to be ready because those guys it's impossible to stay healthy in college football for a full season.
Oh, we got those 5, and then I guess you could say Bavion Johnson will be the 6th. Mike Arnold, I feel like, will be number 7, maybe.
Right.
And then 8, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Brady Scott kind of starts emerging, although he's been part of the morning crew that we haven't seen out there at practice.
Corey Martinez has been getting looks at a couple different positions.
Abdul Bello.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's guys that haven't done much in college, but you got to build some depth.
All right. That's about all the observations we've had for 2 days. Now what are we going to do? We're just going to go watch practice for a little bit and then just share our observations for the first 20 minutes?
I don't know, man. Or what else? Yeah, we could just talk about life. We don't have to talk about football all the time.
No, I don't talk about life. It's football.
No, man, we got all fall to talk about football.
We do. Can't wait. It's going to be
We
cool.
can't do preseason. We can't be guns a-blazing for the preseason for the next 25 days, like talking breathlessly about it. We got to do some other stuff, too.
Challenge accepted. Watch me. Let's see where we're on the countdown clock. How many days away are we? We are 26 days away.
Who's 26?
It was your boy DeKalen Brooks, but now he's wearing 28.
Yeah, it's really throwing me off because Levante Taylor, because nobody's got their single digits back yet, he's wearing 28 too, so there's 28s all over the field.
I think Jonathan Vickers is still at 26 on the offense.
Oh, all right.
Vickers.
He hasn't done a whole lot in the first 2 practices.
Feel the vapors, like Vapo Rub, Vickers. No, I'm bad.
Yeah.
Bad at
Man,
this.
I can't. Yeah, we can't.
All right, let's walk away while we're somewhat not totally bankrupt. We'll do Renegade Express. All your questions and comments. That'll keep us afloat for at least one day. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening. Jeff Cameron coming up at 3.
Peace.
Darn pop-ups and video ads.
Are you wasting your time again on clickbait FSU updates that are bloated down with ads?
Yeah. And after crashing my computer, the information isn't even up to date. You're on warchant.com. What's really going on with the Seminoles?
For the real scoop, you'll need to get your own War Chant subscription.
What's it cost?
Free. There's a 30-day trial offer right now.
You know I like free. Sign me up.
Use the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Nobody has more accurate and timely information on the Noles than warchant.com.
Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole source.